Friends, it's time for all of us to discuss the format of the resume. In other words, the content of the resume, what all information to include and how these information have to be mentioned, how to make your resume look very impressive, which can create the first best impression in the employer's mind. Let's discuss all these information in the video. Especially for engineers, technical skills is one section which matters a lot. Usually people ask me this question saying, how do I write my technical skills section? I'm a little confused. I'm not sure. I think what you can see on the screen actually is going to answer to all your questions. As you can see, there are different aspects of technical skills which have been mentioned as subheadings on the left hand side, and on the right hand side under that particular subheading, what have you learned, what do you know, what are you extremely confident about? You have mentioned that. Okay, for example, programming languages, basics of C, basics of Java, and this is one thing what I wanted you to please observe. See, if you can notice here, the candidate has clearly mentioned basics. It's very important to mention that if you have only pursued, if you have completed a course which has given you only basic knowledge of C or C++ or Java, it's always good to mention basics. If you have completed advanced level of the course on the same, then please mention advanced level. By any chance, if they're very interested to check your technical skills during the interview, they can ask you the question of your level. Okay, it's always good to be honest and truthful to yourself and not dig your own graves. Likewise, packages, MS Office, database, MySQL, operating systems, Windows family, web technologies, HTML. So this is how you're supposed to mention your technical skills. If they ask you any questions, you can actually orally answer to that. You need not to mention any other details under any of these subheadings what you have come up with. Especially for engineers and MBA graduates, projects and internships become a part and parcel of the entire journey. If you are an engineer, you have not done a project and an internship, your engineering has no value. In fact, if you are an MBA graduate, you haven't done even a single project, that's not possible, because that's a part and parcel of the entire course altogether. Okay, in some colleges, in some places, it is introduced in the third year. In some places, it is introduced in the fourth year. However, you must have at least done one mini project or one internship for sure. Okay, so it's time to talk about how to talk about our project details and internship in the resume. Come up with 3 subheadings under the project details, which can help you to segregate the information and make your information look very organized. The first one what I have here is title. See, for every project, whatever you must have done, you must have given a title, whether it is a mini project or a major project. So what was the name of the project? That's what you have to mention under title. As you can see here, an approach to balance maintenance cost and electricity consumption in cloud data center. So this is the title of the project. Second subheading what you have to come up with is duration. You must have taken a certain amount of time to finish the project, right? Minimum seven days to maximum 6 months of time. So how much time did you take to finish the project? Either you have to mention it in the form of days or in the form of months. Let's say you have taken only 10 days time to finish a project, then you can mention 10 days. If you think you took almost 1 month time, then you can mention 1 month. Okay, so that's what you can see here on the screen too. Duration 6 months means this person has taken 6 months time to complete the project. The most significant part of the story here, that is description. Description is nothing else but what's your project all about? You must have dealt with something in your project, right? You have to express that in minimum 2 to 3 lines, maximum 5 lines. I would want you to restrict over here because space management is equally important in resume building. So please make sure that you restrict yourself to either minimum 3 lines or maximum 5 lines. So read it here. We target the problem of managing the power states of the servers in a cloud data center to jointly minimize the electricity consumption and the maintenance costs. That's what the person has written. So whatever is your project all about, mention that in minimum 3 to 5 lines. By any chance, if you are a person who has done a lots of projects, you can follow the same subheadings for each of the projects and write it. Please do not talk about more than 2 projects in your resume because that wouldn't add any value. In fact, whichever project is going to show the interviewer that you carry some experience in terms of applying your theoretical knowledge into practice, okay, in the form of project, then you can mention those project details which are relevant to the job what you have applied for. That would actually make a lot of sense. So this is about project details section. Let's go to internship. Internship is actually one of the major factors which can work like a plus point to you as a candidate when you go and attend a job interview. How do you express that in your resume so that you could get an interview call? I would suggest you to come up with 3 subheadings here. The first one is name of the company or organization. Second one, duration. Third one, key responsibilities handled. Under name of the company, see, you must have done your internship in one or the other organization of one or the other industry where you did your internship. You have to mention that here under the first subheading. How long did you actually work as an intern? Minimum 10 days to maximum 1 year. People actually do tend to work as an intern in any organization. So mention that part over here. Here the person has mentioned 1 month, duration 1 month, or duration 6 months, duration 45 days. So this is how you mention your duration. Key responsibilities handled. It's very important. As an intern, what did you do in the organization? What value did you add to working as an intern with the organization? That's what you have to mention. By any chance, as you can see here, designing of user interface, building up of code in Java for transferring of email, implementing the code with Swing Designer. Now, these 3 factors are going to definitely work as plus points. You have done something very solid, which are mentioned under key responsibilities handled as an intern. By any chance, sometimes it happens because this is my experience again. As an intern, maybe you were not given any responsibilities at all. You were just like a namesake intern. You went, you came back, and you just learned a little bit here and there. You did not handle any major responsibilities or key responsibilities as an intern. Then you can talk about the learnings as an intern. What did you learn as an intern with the organization? Now let's talk about awards or achievements or accomplishments. This is not buy one get 2 free offer where you tend to use all 3 words back to back in one as one subheading. You can use any of these words to express what you have achieved as a student. Few things I would like to talk about achievements before I could show you the model of writing the achievements in an appropriate manner. First, your academic achievements are also considered as accomplishments. Second, if you're a person who hasn't achieved anything in academics, but you have achieved a lot of things in extracurricular activities, then that also can be mentioned under the umbrella of achievements. Either of this is absolutely fine. So you need not to worry. If you have been the topper in your department in the past 2 semesters, that can be one of your achievements. You won the first prize in debate or dance or mono-acting competition. That can be mentioned under the umbrella of achievements. There's a format what you have to follow to talk about your achievements. What is that? Always follow what, where, and when. What has been your achievement, where this achievement was accomplished, and when did it take place? For example, won the first prize representing Mysore University in the national debate competition which was held in Delhi in 2010. See, what happened? I won the first prize. Where did it happen? It happened in national debate competition Delhi. When? 2010. So this should be the pattern how you actually mention your achievements or your accomplishments. Extracurricular and co-curricular activities. Friends, let's understand what is the difference between extracurricular activity and co-curricular activity. Extracurricular activity is an activity in which you participated, which is apart from the academics. Like maybe you took part in cultural activities, or maybe you have been an athlete, you participated in a lot of sports events. All these can be considered as extracurricular activities. What is a co-curricular activity? Paper presentation, attending seminar, workshops, etc. can be actually considered as co-curricular activity. Well, That's the difference between extracurricular and co-curricular activities. Here also you're supposed to follow the same pattern: what, where, and when. Usually people tend to ask me this question saying, ma'am, what is the difference between awards or honors and extracurricular activities? Both are same, right? No. If you have got anything in the form of an award or a prize or any kind of recognition, that can be considered as accomplishment and it can be mentioned under achievements. By any chance you participated in many events, maybe extracurricular or co-curricular activities, doesn't matter, but you never got any prize or any reward, then that can be mentioned under extracurricular and co-curricular activities subheading. I just would like to show you some examples how you can write the same. For example, as you can see here, paper presentation, workshops, and seminars attended. Paper presentation, workshops, and seminars attended usually are considered co-curricular activities. Read the sentences here. Attended a workshop on Android and its application conducted by Google India in the month of July 2015. So this was basically a participation in which you did not win any award or any prize. Look at the next one. Attended a seminar on future of robotics conducted by Engineers Institute, Bangalore chapter in the month of June 2015. Likewise, presented a paper on application of robotics at TechFest 2014 conducted by RV College of Engineering, Bangalore. So all these information in the form of what, where, and when can be put under co-curricular activities. The same thing is even applicable to extracurricular activities. Another interesting section in resume is hobbies. First of all, my dear friends, understand what are hobbies. Any activity which you like to get yourself involved in during your free time, that's actually called a hobby. Painting, playing cricket, drawing, gardening, singing, dancing, etc., etc. Point number one, please do not come up with this section and raise a subheading if you do not have any hobbies at all. Point number two, all the hobbies should be mentioned in the ing form. Okay, so this is how it's going to look like. Hobbies: singing, dancing, and playing cricket. No other further information is required to be mentioned over here. This is more than sufficient. This is how your hobby section should look like. Friends, keep one thing in mind. Taking your dog for evening walk is not a hobby. Watching Doraemon or Tom and Jerry is definitely not a hobby. Chatting with friends is not a hobby. These are all the hobbies what usually I've seen freshers writing in the resume. Please understand, hobbies are activities which show something productive about you. It should add value to your personality when you mention that in the resume. Let that not be hilarious for anybody when actually he or she reads all these in your resume. Hope it's making sense. Last but definitely not all the least, languages known. There are two things what you have to keep it in mind. One, this section is applicable only to those who know to speak at least 3 languages. If you know only 2 languages, this section will not add any value. Please do not raise this section. Languages known, Kannada and English. Languages known, English and Tamil. It's not adding any value. Okay, so this is only applicable for those who know to speak minimum 3 languages. The second thing, please just mention the languages in which you are very good at speaking. Nothing more is required, because I've seen under languages known, people write English, reading, writing, speaking. Kannada, reading, writing, no speaking. Hindi, speaking, reading, no writing. You don't have to, you're not applying for any shorthand job. This information is not required. So how should your languages known section should look like? Kannada, Hindi, and English. If you want to follow a pattern, usually I always follow this. I mention the mother tongue first, and then I would go to the regional language, and then I would go to the national language, and then I would go to the international language. That kind of creates a pattern. If you want, you can follow it. Otherwise, it's not compulsory that you have to follow this pattern. That's all I've got for all of you in this video. I'm going to be back very soon with another video with lots of learning. Until then, please do take a great care of yourself and have an amazing time ahead. Please do not forget to like, share, and subscribe.